Normal type Rillaboom has been officially announced as the next 7-star Tera raid in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Delphox proved to be one of the most difficult 7-star raids we've seen so far. Depending on what moves Rillaboom gets, it could easily join Delphox as one of the most difficult raids yet. Welcome back to another DanSquared video, you Danimals. After weeks of speculation and rumors, normal type Rillaboom is finally confirmed. We have really loved this run of starter Pokemon in the 7-star Tera raids, so it's a little bittersweet that it's at its end. Mewtwo is really heavily rumored to be the next 7-star Tera raid, but what do you think is coming after that? Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Here is our preview of Rillaboom, our 6 builds that we think will be able to solo it, and a bonus support build for the people. Let's get right into it. Rillaboom is a physical attacker with a much higher attack than special attack. It has a formidable defensive 90, so we're going to want to go after it with special attacks if we can, but we should be okay with physical attackers. Its hidden ability, Grassy Surge, sets grassy terrain on the field. This benefits Rillaboom in 2 ways. It provides Rillaboom and our Pokemon with a little bit of healing, but more importantly, it powers up Rillaboom's grass-type attacks by 50%. While making our builds, we're going to want to consider clearing the terrain or setting a different terrain. Rillaboom will have 1 grass stab attack, which will either be Drum Beating or Woodhammer. There has been a ton of speculation that normal Tera type Rillaboom will have Boom Burst as its normal type stab attack. Rillaboom only has a base special attack of 60, so Boom Burst wouldn't scare us too much. But there is one normal stab move that should scare you. That move is Facade. Facade would be especially scary for trying to solo Rillaboom. In group raids against Rillaboom, you could play around the status conditions by just not inflicting Rillaboom with status conditions, but for soloing with AI teammates, that is going to be a problem, because the AI teammates often inflict a status condition on the opposing raid Pokemon. Rillaboom has a lot of very strong options when it comes to its coverage moves. If Rillaboom gets Acrobatics and one of the ground type moves that it can learn, it will be able to hit every single fighting Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet for super effective damage. Only Electric, Rock, and Steel type resist flying type attacks like Acrobatics. Ground type moves are super effective against all 3, Electric, Rock, and Steel. Rillaboom also gets access to 2 really useful fighting type moves. Brick Break to break Reflect and Light Screen, and Drain Punch to provide some recovery for Rillaboom. As for support moves, I would be really surprised if Rillaboom didn't have Swords Dance for this raid. Just like Inteleon used Tearful Look to lower both our attack and special attack, I think there's a good chance Rillaboom will have the Noble Roar to do the same. If Rillaboom does use Noble Roar, then the stock of our defined Pokemon soars for this raid. My first impression on normal type Rillaboom is, hey, this should be pretty easy. Normal type doesn't hit anything for super effective, and fighting types can just ruin this thing. But the big X factor here is the coverage moves, and we will not know that until the raid actually releases. Armed with this information, let's look at some potential builds. Here's a high-level look at our 6 builds that we think could potentially solo Rillaboom. Now let's take a closer look at each of these builds. Our first Rillaboom counter is Lucario. The ability doesn't really matter for Lucario, we're going for Inner Focus just to avoid flinching. Aura Sphere is how Lucario is going to deal damage. Nasty Plot powers up Aura Sphere. Metal Sound softens up Rillaboom. Life Dew is here for some recovery, it's especially useful in group raids. Our Lucario is Tera type fighting, and we gave it the Shell Bell item for some additional recovery. If Rillaboom does not get a fighting or a ground type coverage move, we think Lucario is going to be the most powerful Rillaboom counter. It has access to Nasty Plot and Metal Sound, which will allow it to do huge amounts of damage to Rillaboom, potentially even getting a one-hit knockout after it gets set up. Next up, we have the future Paradox Pokemon, Iron Hands. Electric Terrain negates Rillaboom's grassy terrain and activates the Quark Drive ability, boosting Iron Hand's attack. Belly Drum allows this build to hit for huge damage. Drain Punch allows us to recover HP while we're hitting for huge damage. We have Close Combat to deal a huge finishing blow. Our build is Tera type fighting to hit for huge damage with Drain Punch. Our build holds the Leftovers held item for some additional recovery. Up next is Hisuian Decidueye, which is a great potential counter so long as Rillaboom does not get a flying type coverage move. Neither of the abilities help against Rillaboom, so we just stuck with Overgrow. We're using it as a physical attacker because of the Triple Arrows attack. It has a 50% chance to lower the target's defense and a 30% chance to make it flinch. Feather Dance weakens Rillaboom's attack and gives this build more survivability. Swords Dance powers up Triple Arrows. Synthesis for some extra recovery. Our build is Tera Fighting to power up Triple Arrows, and we have the Shell Bell for some recovery. Hisuian Decidueye also gets Nasty Plot and Aura Sphere, so you could easily use this Pokemon as a special attacker as well if you wanted to. Next up all the way from the Sinnoh region is Giratina. If Rillaboom has ground and fighting type coverage moves, Giratina is a great option. Its ghost typing makes it immune to normal and fighting type attacks, and it has the ability to levitate in its origin form, which makes it immune to ground type attacks. Its dragon typing allows it to resist Rillaboom's grass type attacks as well. Aura Sphere is the attacking move of this build. Calm Mind powers up Aura Sphere. Defog allows us to clear Rillaboom's grassy terrain. Not sold on the 4th move, I have Ancient Power here for the chance to get a boost to every single stat. Our Giratina's held item is the Griseous Core, so it can be in its origin form to power up its special attack stat. Our build is Tera type Ghost for now, but we're not sold on what's best. Corviknight is going to be a great counter if Rillaboom ends up getting a ground, fighting, and flying type coverage move. Corviknight is immune to ground type attacks and it resists flying type attacks. Our build has the Mirror Armor ability to reflect any status changing moves like Noble Roar back to Rillaboom. Iron Defense makes Corviknight even bulkier and powers up the body press attack. Screech softens up Rillaboom for Corviknight. We can hit for huge super effective damage with body press after some iron defenses and screeches. I'm not sold on Drill Peck, but I left it there for an option to use while Terrasilize. We chose Tera Flying so we don't take any super effective damage from ground type moves when we Terrasilize. This build uses the Shell Bell item for some recovery. Corviknight is a sneaky top option against Rillaboom because of its favorable typing and its great move pool. Last but not least, we have the Angry Ape himself, Annihilape. If Rillaboom ends up using Noble Roar in this raid, the Annihilape will be the best build hands down. Noble Roar lowers the target's attack and special attack. That triggers Defiant twice. That means that every time Rillaboom uses Noble Roar against Annihilape, Annihilape's attack goes up 3 stages. Bulk Up improves Annihilape's survivability and lets it hit a little harder. Screech softens up Rillaboom. Drain Punch is the main attacking move of this build, allowing it to hit for huge damage while also recovering HP. We pack Close Combat to deal a huge finishing blow. Our build is Tera type Fighting for huge damage with Drain Punch. We use the Metronome item for extra damage while we're swinging with Drain Punch. Here is our bonus support build. Credit to the awesome Danimal Lysithea for trading me this Pokemon and showing me this build. Qwilfish has the Intimidate ability to lower Rillaboom's attack right off the rip. This build has Chilling Water to further lower Rillaboom's attack. Minimize helps keep Qwilfish alive. Acid Spray softens up Rillaboom for any of your special attacking teammates. Acupressure is a really cool move which lets you randomly sharply raise one of your teammates' stats. And it has a really cute animation where you boop the Pokemon that you're targeting. It has the Dark Tera type to not take super effective ground damage, and it has the EV Light for bulk. Let us know in the comments what you are building to take down 7-star Rillaboom. Let us know what we got right in this video or what Pokemon we missed. If you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping a like, leaving a comment, or using facade on that subscribe button for more DanSquared. Thank you for watching, and happy Rillaboom season.